Clock, we'll go ahead and call our work session here to order. Appreciate everyone being here tonight. We've got on the agenda, has everybody had a chance to look at the agenda? Only thing I need to change on it, we do have Dade, well, you've got it on there, Don. This is the latest one. You added it. Dade Water and Sewer, they came in a little late and want to talk to us about some splosh. Other than that, anybody got any changes on it? Okay. We are missing two of our members tonight. Melissa, she is under the weather. She's sick. Miss Bradford and Lamar is actually on his way to Nashville on some treatments. So we are two shy tonight, but we do have a quorum. So, on our minutes, our previous minutes, everyone I know had time to look over any corrections on those.
Nope.
I put those on the consent agenda too. Personnel status, nothing, we're not changing anything drastic. I think there's been some changes in the jail and sheriff's department, but other than that, not anything. I think we did mention, Penny now is she has taken over, and it's on our website too. She's director now of the senior building.
Public transportation.
Public transportation, yeah. And so she's kind of hit the ground running there, and she's, I believe she's.
Well, don't say too much good about her. She's sitting back there.
Oh, she's sitting back out? Yeah, okay. Well, we'll give you about a 30-minute speech here in a minute, and you get to talk. But other than that, it's pretty well basic. Any questions on any of the personnel? Okay. All right. Move down to 4. Number 4, this is our proclamation. 4A is the Childhood Cancer Awareness Month as September in 2024. Any questions on that?
No.
We've done that for the last 3 years? Is that right? Two, 3, 4 years. Yeah. Put that on the consent agenda. We have 4B is proclamation, the Library Card Sign-Up Month, which is also September. I've done that for a few years also. Everybody fine with that? Okay. Put that on the consent agenda. 4C, this is another proclamation, Adult Education and Literacy Week. This is September 15th through the 21st. Everybody fine with that? There again, these are repeating, yearly repeated proclamations we do every year. 4D, this is a resolution R-25-24. This is a reappointment of Mr. Richard Stevens to our Board of Assessors, and Richard's doing a good job. He really takes it serious, and he attends the meetings and is hands-on, so we just appreciate Richard, really good. He does a good job for us. But, anybody any questions on that?
Okay. I'm good with it. Good.
Okay. That was a good appointment there, Mr. Hartline. He's from our Sand Mountain District. Move down to 4E. This is Resolution R-26-24. Appointment of a member to the Dade, to the Department of Family and Children's Service Board, Dade County, to fulfill the unexpired term of Tanina Bice. Tanina, she's just got a lot going on right now, a lot of things. She's retiring, and sometimes she's semi-retired, and so she's really done a good job. She's been on there many years, and she was really involved in her schools, and so we do have to replace her, and it will be to fill her unexpired term, and then we'll review it. And I think she's got, 2 years left?
On her expires to 6/30/28.
Okay, 28, okay.
That's Phyllis Baker.
Okay. And we have had a recommendation, a lady by the name of Phyllis Baker. She is qualified. There is certain qualifications you got to meet through the state, and she has agreed to accept this position. You got any questions, Mr. Hartline? Any comments, Robert?
No.
Okay. She is actually, is she from the mountain? From?
Yeah, she is. She's a former employee of DFACS, I think.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so everybody, if I put that on the consent agenda. And that is really a hard board, to serve on. You see a lot of things that, you wouldn't dream in Dade County that exists. I know Diane, my wife Diane, served on it back there for many years, and it was an eye-opening experience for us, for her, you know, so it's hard to, yeah, it takes a special person to serve on it, you know. All right, let's move down to number 5. This is approval of our SPOS, any capital equipment. We do have Ansel Kaiser here, Ansel Smith here tonight. He's gonna give us, actually explain to us what's needed. And under that too, we do have Dade Water and Sewer Authority, Elizabeth Zeller here from, so Ansel, go ahead and let you start.
Yeah, Chief Kaiser told me to let y'all know he's sorry something come up last minute, so you're stuck with me. So we want to give y'all a little presentation first of where we're at on Station 4 and what we need to be able to finish the building. So first of all, we ended up painting the building, which it's been overwhelming response from the citizens around of what the exterior turned back to. Let me go back. And while we've been working, there's been several times citizens or anybody stopped by to observe our progress and positive on that. So we've had all the firefighters with building and trade experience have contributed probably over 100 hours on this project. The firefighters have completed all the work except the spray foam application, the block lay, and the exterior painting. That's where we'll get here in a minute. That's some of the unexpected expenses that's come out of it. All right. So here's the completion of the exterior paint. There on your left is what it was before, and now on your right, it's a gray and dark gray color. It turned out really good. And on the left, you'll see it here in a minute, them white garage doors is now the main entrance and a window. So here's the inside of the station before we started remodeling. I think we showed y'all some whenever we first started this, asking if we wanted to update it. So here's a couple pictures of the inside. Right there on the left, that was 2 big offices. And on the right was a day room, just an open area of kitchen table and where the people sat. This side right here was the bathroom. On the left, that's where 2 small bathrooms were, just one shower, and the other one just had a toilet and sink. And then that far door on the right there was a small, very small little like janitor's closet. And the picture on the right is going out in the bay and the other side of the offices. So here's where the demolition begins. Here's where we started out. That's where on the left, the black and white, that was all block. It was real small. The far door there was where the kitchen area was. You could hardly get past it. You could get a couple people in there, but you couldn't pass each other in there. It was really tight. The other was where we started taking out of the offices, the 2x4s and stuff that we planned on using. But when we got up there, the 2x4s didn't go as tall as what it looked like. They had just scabbed some 2x4s up, so it didn't match the height we needed. So that's where we couldn't reuse most of them 2x4s that we planned on before. Here's where some water damage. This is where we had to complete the gutting of the area. If you can see the insulation, that was behind the bathrooms in the kitchen area. This is where we started finding the insulation wet, mold, nest of animals, holes in the tin so that's why we had to end up patching the tin for the holes, and that's where the spray foam come in, because every wall we tore down, it just got worse and worse. The back wall on the right, we planned on leaving it. That's where we talked about leaving it, but after looking at all the other insulation, spending this money and going as far as we didn't want to shortchange it and just think of, because we did look behind it, there's big holes in there that we couldn't clean out, not knowing what was behind it. We didn't want to do that and just leave one area untouched. Here's the completion of the spray foam. It's where they started up on the top left, and then the completion of it. You can tell a big difference in that if nobody's seen it. You can walk in now, even though there's no heating in there, just on a hot day, and it's a lot cooler in there now than it was and in the base, just by the spray foam holding it out. Our plumbing upgrade, this is for 2 new restrooms and showers. It's where we cut the concrete out. Our guys working on it, getting the plumbing back out. See the ditch line going back out. That's where the kitchen area is going to be. It's going to be all open to the day room, and right outside there's a septic tank, so we're able to tie back into the septic tank going out the back door. This is where we talked about earlier. We converted the 2 bay doors into an entrance and a window. That's where they were blocking it up for us. And there's the completion of it inside and out. This is where the new framing begins. If on the left is when we, one morning we went down, about 5 or 6 hours probably, and framed up. This is gonna be 4 bedroom areas, but right now it's gonna be 3 bedroom areas and 1 office area. The first bedroom is where we're gonna put a desk for doing reports and all our IT for the internet and computers. And then on the left is where we got to, and that's where the bathroom walls were not complete yet, which here it is completed right here. The 2 bathrooms, and then you can't hardly see it, but there's a door down there by the 2 entrance door. That's going to be a janitor mop sink area where our hot water tank's going to be, and a mop sink. The hot water tank was on top, but we're going to leave it down below so it's easy to work on in the future if something was to happen. That's the offices, the completed area. And that back wall right there, you can see the blocking, that's going to be the day room area. And off to the right is a door. That's where the cabinets are going to go along that wall where you can't see, and that's where the kitchen area, it's all going to be one open area. So the essentials needs for completing the remodel, the $15,000 previously requested has been utilized to reach our current progress. As we talked, unforeseen issues such as the spray foam requirements, inability to reuse some of the walls, and extensive exterior painting after patching several holes have required additional funds. Just want to let y'all know there's no changes or additions that's going into this. It's been made for the project to ask for more funds. Unforeseen issues led to the discrepancies between our initial estimate and actual needs. I mean, basically, you know, we're firemen, we're not professional estimators to get it nailed on the first time. So, you know, we still intend to complete the majority of the remodel ourselves to save contractors' costs. So we've got guys plumbing, electrical. We've got a guy that's actually going to build our cabinets. Install, we just got to buy the material, so that's going to save a lot. We're currently seeking quotes for the drywall hanging and finishing, as well as the drop ceiling, but we have had a few people reach out to us. They said that, you know, asked if we have did it before, and I told them I hadn't, and I'm not sure if any of the other guys had, but they said they were willing to come get us started or help us with it, so we're willing to do that ourselves. But we did put this in kind of in there just in case that didn't happen. So we are requesting an additional $45,000 from our Station 4 Splash Fund to complete the remodel. With this addition funding, the total cost for remodeling the living quarters of the Station 4 will be $60,000. So the area being remodeled, and try to give you an idea, is 1,600 square feet, which results in a cost of $37.50 per square foot for a complete remodel. That's with us handling 90% of the work. To compare, for a full gut renovation, typically this is on the low end, is probably anywhere from 60 to 150 plus per square foot. So if you just went off the 60, if you just went off 60 and we got somebody to do it, that'd be like $96,000 to have somebody come in. $96,000 to get somebody to come in and do everything that we did. So we are committed to using the funds wisely, and we'll strive to keep the total expenditure below the $45,000. And we would appreciate the consideration. And we've sat down and asked prices on. We got plumbing prices for all of the fixtures and everything that needs being done to get it closer, and we're very positive we can do it in the $45,000 or less.
Okay. Any questions? Philip?
Well, while you're here, then I'm gonna go from this also to go over into the ARPA funds. You're also asking for another 11 to 12.5 for heating and air. So your actual price is gonna be closer to 72 to 75,000. Is that correct?
Yeah, after we use the ARPA, it should be 60 out of the splosh is why we mentioned that.
Okay.
Robert, you got anything?
We still have ARPA funds that would cover that.
We do for,
Hey,
The
hey,
12
say-
as long as it doesn't exceed, you know.
Yeah, on down to the.
What the
heat
most
and air
expensive
part.
one was, what, 15, 12, I don't know.
If to go with the cheapest, it'd be 11.
And that would be the one when we get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
All right. Any other questions? Are you fine with it? Mr. Hartline?
I'm good with it.
Okay.
I'm good with it and appreciate all the work
They put a lot of hours in.
Their
I know
time
that.
in to do,
We
saves
appreciate
a
it.
lot of money.
And y'all are welcome, I know some stopped by, Don stopped by, I think, Mr. Brownlee, you stopped by, if y'all ever wanna stop by and check it out while we're there. If we're not, just call and we can let you get in and look at it if you wanna walk around, everybody's welcome. Thank you.
The work looks great. I was down there about 2 weeks ago, so.
Okay, put that on consent agenda. Let's move down to 5B. Elizabeth, Ms. Eller, come up to the podium, man.
Good evening. So we are requesting, 274,000 of our splosh funds to cover a few of some projects that we have coming up. Our first one is the relocation of our water main, on County Road 145/Sligo Road along I-24. We are expected to pay, so much of the cost. We got utility aid from GDOT, but our remaining cost to cover that is roughly 77,000.
Is that the bridge now you're talking about, or is that on the interstate over there, y'all done that? Is that project?
I think it's the bridge on the at the interstate, cause we're gonna have to move.
Okay, yeah,
that line.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
that's that one, okay.
Yes. And then our next ones will be we have some pumps that we would also like to purchase. There's 3 pumps. One will be a brand new pump, which will be Lookout Mountain, because our old one could not be rebuilt. So what they'll do is they'll bring it in once we purchase it, and they'll take another one out. They'll take it back to their shop and see if they can rebuild that one. But, and then our other 2 will be spares that we can have if one of them goes down. At the time, we do not have spares, so if one goes down, we have to get our National Water Service to come up, pull it, and then take it down to see if it can be rebuilt or if we have to purchase another one. So it'd be great to have a couple of spares there that we can interchange with other pumps. In case one goes down, we can keep going until we can get information back when it's reserviced. And then we have a new server for our office. It's roughly about 81,000. That's just so we can keep going in the office. Something happens, we go down, we're still processing, still being able to get work out to our guys, communicate with our customers. That would be that help out tremendously on that. And then lastly, we're a new line upgrade it's on Highway 301 near Michaels Road. There's a stretch there about 3,200 feet of undersized line that we're wanting to get upsized to a 6-inch
That's
main.
6.
Yes, sir. And there's also in the quote for that is also a fire hydrant
Yeah.
to go in there.
Oh, yeah.
So, but that would help tremendously us and of course the customers in that.
Yeah, the
stretch.
fire service too, you know. Will it go in, will it tie into a 6? You
Yes,
kind of
sir.
making a loop, you're
Yes.
starting with 6. And so years ago, it was what, a 4-inch put in there, I guess, that's what.
I think,
yeah,
yes, I think
when
that's what's in there. So this will be
Yeah.
to take that out and put this new in.
Yep, yeah, that'd be good, yeah.
So that line, the 3,200 feet, that'll be on 301 going south from Michaels Road.
Yes, sir.
Any
And then that's
questions?
just
Yeah,
for
that's just-
material. We haven't done any type of bids yet for, installation, but we are gonna be trying to work towards that in the next few weeks to get that out for some people to bid on and see what we can come up with.
So is that ductile iron going back in?
Yes, sir.
What about the Squirrel Town Bridge up here now? You know, y'all had mentioned, is any of this money here part of that, you know, where they're tearing the bridge out on Highway 11? Because I know you're gonna need some
So I
funds on
think that was
Yeah.
maybe a couple of years ago. I
Been a
did-
while.
Yeah, it's been a while, but I do believe that there was a letter submitted then for splosh funding for that. Once they can finally get it complete, because they are having issues getting our line to the other side.
Yeah.
So,
That's what I was afraid of, you know, it's been so long that I wondered if costs had went up, you know? I mean, material and everything had changed in the last 2 years.
yes.
Yes, you know, that's.
Like I said, they've actually had to change the material, what's going under that, because once they started boring, they actually, I think it was Esslinger lost, or Hawassi, one of the 2, actually lost a boring bit, and they could not retrieve it back.
Yeah.
So they're having to change the type of material and bring it up just a little bit to bore,
Yeah.
just so it's.
Yeah.
But Yes.
Any other questions?
Yeah, on the 301 at Michael's Road, you're looking at 94,000 or 95,000 in material. What would be your projection time of starting that project, and do you have a estimated cost on labor?
Do not have an estimated cost on labor yet. The time would be what it would take us to get our permit and getting somebody in there to install and having a construction meeting to see when they could start.
Okay.
Probably at least 6 months by the time you do it all.
Yeah, because we
5 or
gotta
6
get,
months.
yeah, because I think that,
If you're just starting the permit, especially, now.
yes,
yeah.
because if I'm not mistaken, that's state road. So we would actually have to get some of our plans to EPD before we'd ever be able to.
Have they have you got any drawings yet? And have they
Not
already?
yet, we're working
Okay,
working
yeah.
with Lad to get
So
this
you might
stuff
as well
done.
figure 6 months.
6 months to 12 months out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, at least, yeah. Robert, you got any questions? Anything?
No, I don't think so.
Y'all on board with it as far as the draw? Fine.
Well, what is the total, Elizabeth, is 274,905?
Yes, sir.
That's for everything you just talked about,
Yes, sir.
except
Squirrel Town.
Squirrel Town, except for Squirrel Town, yes, sir.
because we did that. I think Dr. Pullen come 2 or 3
Yes,
years ago.
He did.
It's been a
And
while.
It's been a while, but it's taken them a while to get that boring done.
And that's what I was asking Don earlier. So that money was approved, but it's never been drawn from
That or maybe it's been.
Right.
Splosh.
Because I think what it's also too is because the material and stuff that's going into it, because it's supposed to have been, from what I understand,
Be on the old
a 2 or
splosh.
3 week bore, and it's gone longer than that.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's gonna be some cost changing in what we're gonna be required to pay to them.
One other question, on the pumps, are you purchasing one pump?
So there'll be 3 pumps being purchased, 2 will be spares. and
3
then-
new pumps?
Yes,
Okay.
but 2 will be as spares and 1 will actually go in as one is taken out to see if it can be rebuilt, or we have to purchase another one if that one can't be rebuilt.
I got you.
Any more questions? Okay. You fine with it, Mr. Hartline?
Yes.
Okay, you okay? Put that on the consent agenda, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Let us know as soon as you know anything on this Squirrel Town thing.
Yes, I
up
will.
there, what's
I'll be
going on
looking
with
and
it,
see
you know,
how,
and,
we had a meeting a few weeks ago, and we have not gotten anything back that it's not going good, but we've not anything got back that's not going bad either, so.
I didn't know till today, they called and, the Hawassi, the older fellow, the owner, he had passed away, and I didn't know that.
Yes,
Yes,
It's been about a month ago.
Oh.
Yeah, we were just talking, and I didn't know that. He was a good, honest person. I mean, they were good people.
he was a really nice man.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. That's 5A and B, okay. All right, let's move down number 6A. This is on HVAC. This is on the Dade Fire Station. Proposals. Okay. Now, they bid this out, y'all bid it out?
Yes, sir, we've got 3 quotes. First one we got is 72 degrees. It's a 4-ton unit, 10 years on parts and labor, 10 years on compressor, not applicable years on the heat exchanger. Next would be, and that was for, $11,000. Jolly Heating and Air, it was a 3.5 ton split heat pump. Let's see, it had 1 year warranty on labor, 5 years on parts. And then the third we got from getting ahead of myself, that's $11,800. Reeves, that was a 4-ton. Warranty will be 1 year on parts, 5 year on compressor, and 1 year on labor. And that was $12,757. So that's 3 quotes, and
So Jolly,
72 degrees.
72
72 degrees, yep.
And they had,
Comparative though, on the warranties now, it's pretty well apples to apples, and as far as there's really one, I didn't see where the one gave more.
72 degrees.
72
They
is
gave
like 10 years,
on
that's
there.
parts and labor, that's.
And we have a guy, hope you don't care, but he uses them, and he's
Oh,
had,
yeah,
he's had a compressor so changed out 8 years or so, and he hadn't paid anything.
Who did the duct up there, that's hanging, the new trunk that's in
That
there?
was old. We-
If it was old, look new, you look brand new now.
Yeah, we ended up taking it down. That was the old stuff.
Yeah, okay, all right, okay.
So that was it, and we are asking for that, and
All right, any questions, Mr. Hartline?
What brand is that B&T's putting in?
which one's putting in.
72 degrees.
I'm not sure they told us which brand it was on the quote.
As long as it's not a Daikin. I say that sincere because we've had more trouble.
Yeah, I don't think any of them actually put what brand it was.
Yeah, the second one is,
Second one's Temp Star, the third one's
Star.
American.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they didn't put it on there. But the second one's 3.5 ton, which we asked them all to do 4 ton.
Right,
So-
yes, I've seen that.
Okay,
And like, we're here now talking about, like Mr. Hartline said, if y'all do approve this, since the other was discussed, that will put us at 71,000 for the whole project. In fact, with us doing that, it's well under if a contractor come in and did everything, so.
okay.
Which we'll still do our best to come under that as much as possible.
Any more questions, Mr. Hartline? Mr. Kyle?
So we're approving the lower bid.
Yeah, the lower, it would be, well, it's not on the low bid, but that warranty right there, can't beat it, I mean. Okay, if y'all fine with it, put it on consent agenda, okay? Thank you.
is this for 72 degrees?
72. Yeah. They're, flat 11,000, looking like on that, yeah. All right. Number 7, Mr. Cole Adkins, come up and give us a report on their courthouse project.
Evening, everybody. Start off with our budget status. Our current contingency is actually not 79,400.
Talk a little bit louder, Cole.
I apologize, our
Alright.
current contingency is not 79,412. I did not take the 11,000 and some change out from the spray foam installation, so I'll get that corrected and get it over to you tomorrow. For our construction schedule, the finishing of the courtroom flooring is complete. We've got that covered up and it looks absolutely incredible. We're making some last minute preparations on the first floor before we start sanding that. We've got some touch-up painting ongoing. We still have a couple rooms to finish paint. We're trying to get ahead of that as much as possible. Our millwork installation is still ongoing. Our wainscoting and the door casing on the first floor is nearing completion. We had to have a little bit more crown molding and door casing rans. That's the only reason why we're held up on that. We had several of our refurbished office doors delivered to the site today. We hope to install those sometime next week. And our acoustical ceiling tiles for the restrooms, meeting room, the elevator lobbies, and a select office have been completed as of today. Our spray foam insulation application in the attic is complete, as well as the fireproofing of our elevator shaft. And we started our electrical trim out today with the fixtures, and we should continue that into next week. But we won't be doing any of the floor boxes or anything on the first floor, just try to keep dust out of them.
Yeah. I know it looks good. It really, I'm anxious for people to, just to have an open house where they can see really
Yes, sir.
what.
I agree.
You mentioned refurbishing. We're refurbishing all the furniture we possibly can. It came out of the old courthouse. We set up a area down at South Dade in the back area, and Don's been overseeing that, you know, and it's amazing how well the desk and the shelving all turned out. I mean, it's really nice, and the trim, you know, that's sets everything off.
Yes, sir.
It looks
I agree.
good, yeah. Our projected, right now, projection date, yeah, I mean, it's getting close. I mean, it's gotta be.
It's possible.
Yeah, it's got, well, I know you've been saying it for a year, but, you know, it's getting, you know, I hope, you know, I mean, I hope we can have ribbon cutting and all by Thanksgiving anyway.
Yes, sir.
Surely to goodness, I mean, I know we keep running these little things, you know, but that should be really out there, so, but it's, you know, and, you know, you've done a good job. We appreciate Blevins Construction and all, y'all have done a really good job, and by you being here too, because you are Dade County, you're Dade County, and that made us all feel better too, because you're here, you know, you'll be here, you die, like, I mean, you're vested in this county, so, but, we appreciate it. Any questions for Cole? Okay, thank you,
All right,
appreciate it.
thank you for your time.
move down to number 8. This is Mr. Hartline. I'll let you talk this. You've kind of been head this up on the Dade Community Forest.
So, Noel Durant's gonna do a presentation for Trust for Public Lands on this. It's something he brought to my attention here a while back, and I've been trying to get my horse in front of my cart, and I didn't realize 2 of our people were gonna be out tonight, so, but that's why he's here tonight. It's, we've been talking about it for about 3 months now, so I'm hoping we've got it maybe figured out where we can possibly pull this off. Noel, if you'd come up and.
Thank you so much, Commissioner.
Yes.
I'm Noel Durant. I'm the Tennessee State Director for Trust for Public Land, and I work in Northwest Georgia. We're a national conservation nonprofit. We've been around for 50 years. Protected over 4 million acres of land across the country, about 5,000 transactions. And we are excited and motivated to work with Dade County to pursue an acquisition that we view as what could be a pivotal investment for outdoor recreation and economic development in Dade County. And the proposal that was included in your packet outlines how we plan to work alongside Dade County. Trust for Public Land operates as a buyer. We come in as a transactional specialist. We handle the due diligence. We handle the contracting with the seller. We handle grant proposals. We handle due diligence. And what we provide to Dade County is a clean packet of here's the contract, here's all the due diligence, here's the funding stack, here are the grant awards that we're supporting to make this project happen. And then when we complete the transaction, the community forest property becomes Dade County's property. And I think what's really interesting and motivating about the community forest concept is that it is a community-driven planning process as part of the acquisition. And we think that's a model that we would like to be pursuing for more communities across the region, because we see that so many times communities like Dade County have an outdoor recreation attraction like Cloudland Canyon State Park, 4th most visited state park in the state of Georgia, but very little tourism tax revenue comes to Dade County. People come to Dade County, enjoy Cloudland Canyon State Park, and go right back without spending their money. And having more outdoor recreation amenities, more opportunities, will keep people in Dade County longer and provide more opportunities for them to spend their dollars here. And I cite in this report a couple of key elements that I think are helpful for rural communities around what we think of as outdoor recreation communities. And that many rural recreation counties are experiencing growth while non-recreation counties are losing residents. And that rural recreation counties are experiencing faster growth in earnings compared to non-recreation counties. A quick comparison of Pickens County to Dade County. From 2010 to 2016, Pickens County saw an 18% increase in wages, and average earnings per job, and Dade County saw a 3.1% increase. Pickens County being 575, coming out of Atlanta, going towards Amicalola Falls, Jasper, and LJ. That is a definition of a recreation county. And we see very similar opportunities for Dade County here, being just south of Chattanooga, I-59, traffic from Atlanta. There could be immense growth and economic opportunities through outdoor recreation. We look forward to supporting the County Commission on this potential project. I do want to mention one other study in this, and that is a 2021 study of local parks. So these are county-managed parks in Mississippi that studied 8 parks in, I think, a 3 to 4 county area. And it showed 60,000 annual visitors, created nearly $4.5 million of economic impact, which is not a large number of visitors, but they're spending on average $120 to $130 per visit when they're enjoying these county parks. And those county parks provide a variety of recreation opportunities. There were campgrounds, there was opportunities for fishing, for hiking, and many of those same things could be had if Dade County was to pursue this community forest opportunity. If Dade County had a community forest that drew just 10% of the 400,000 plus visitors to Cloudland Canyon State Park, that could generate close to $3 million of annual economic impact for Dade County. Thinking about the actual property in question here, this property is roughly 650 acres, 660 plus and minus acres, currently owned by the Georgia-Alabama Land Trust. They are a close conservation partner of Trust for Public Land, and they're really excited to pursue this transaction alongside Trust for Public Land and Dade County. We think the property is currently, it's estimated about a $1.8 million acquisition. And we are recommending a county commitment as match for this project, $500,000. That would include match for state and federal funds that we know can stack to create a total funding pool that would achieve the total purchase price of this. And we've outlined a couple of scenarios whereby Trust for Public Land, working in concert with Dade County and the Georgia-Alabama Land Trust, could pursue these state and federal funding sources. We have three options that we've listed in this proposal. The first is pursuing the state dedicated federal, it's federal funding, but it passes through the state for land water conservation funding. That would start next month. The end of October is when the land water conservation funding grant is due. We would be pursuing the max award of that, which is a 50-50 match. We'd be using the bulk of Dade County's commitment as the local match for that project. And then, we would be doing that work in concert with Northwest Georgia Regional Commission. Samantha Bishop she and I have talked about this project. They're motivated to support the grant proposal alongside Trust for Public Land staff. If we are selected for a preliminary award, that would be in February of next year, we would then take that preliminary award and pursue through Georgia Department of Community Affairs and Appalachian Regional Commission grant. We have been prepping the Department of Community Affairs staff who manage the Appalachian Regional Commission grant funding on this project. They're aware of this. They like conservation projects like this because it's a very clean transaction. And they see the high impact of this from an outdoor recreation economy perspective. From there, we would work through the steps of due diligence, both through LWCF and then the ARC award process. I do want to note one component of the Land Water Conservation Fund that's critical and has to do with the county match is that due diligence does not qualify as match for Land Water Conservation Fund in the state of Georgia. It does in Tennessee, but each state runs this program differently. So when we look at a county commitment for due diligence costs, that would need to come from either this $500,000 match or other county funds, and that's not eligible as match for LWCF. That's just sunk cost in the project. We've tried to pursue as many creative avenues there with the state of Georgia, but they said, no, you got to do that. It's got to be a part of the project, but it's not going to be matched. So I want to be very clear on that up front. Working through those successive grant applications and awards, LWCF is awarded, and then subsequently, probably 6 to 8 months later, ARC funds are awarded. We then work through the remainder of the due diligence towards closing on this. And then we would be supporting Dade County in pursuing recreational trails program for trails infrastructure improvements on this property as well. It's an 80-20 match. The cycles work well, that this year is the LWCF year, next year would be an RTP year. So this would stack pretty well for successive grant proposals to ideally acquire the property and then be investing in the trail infrastructure as soon as it gets into county ownership. And so we've outlined that scenario here. The second opportunity is another stacked project, but utilizing a U.S. Forest Service community forest program. That's a 50-50 match. It's like slightly more award, $600,000 is the local match. So create a little more money than would be available with LWCF, but that application comes later. So that would be a January submission date. we would, there's also, it's not as clean of a transaction using community forest because we'd be working with a nonprofit, Georgia Alabama Land Trust. Community forest typically is a private landowner scenario where the property's under threat. So still a viable option, but LWCF is a cleaner option. And then the third is pursuing down the road a Georgia Outdoor Stewardship Program that would include acquisition and infrastructure improvements. It's a 75-25 split, but as we've communicated alongside Northwest Georgia Regional Commission, who helps provide grant support for communities across the region, we know that Catoosa County will be reapplying. They were very close to being awarded last year, and we've decided to not pursue that this cycle because we want to be respectful of Northwest Georgia Regional Commission says, hey, we want to advance this for this region. We want to be a really collaborative and proactive partner for projects that are already in the pipeline. As we think about how this project works for Trust for Public Land, we've also outlined a professional services agreement structure in this proposal. The way Trust for Public Land works is we would be using a professional services agreement to identify cost sharing, how due diligence costs are covered and reimbursed in this. And then we would also project if these grants were to be awarded, TPL will have invested some very significant staff time in managing this project. And we would be looking to Dade County down the road with, say, for example, the Appalachian Regional Commission grant administration line item. That would be a source for us to be able to recoup our costs on the staff time to make the transaction happen. That's the structure we're working on right now with Walker County on an Appalachian Regional Commission proposal that was an award that will be going to their county commission next week for a very similar structured agreement. We've outlined in this as well some of those due diligence costs that will be need to be accounted for in this early project. These are rough estimates, they're not perfect, but we identify somewhere in the $35,000 to $50,000 due diligence, depending on survey and title. We will need to get a yellow book appraisal, which costs a little bit more, that meets the federal land acquisition requirements. And then you see on Exhibit A, we have a map that shows the property in question immediately adjacent to Cloudland Canyon State Park, 2 miles of Lookout Creek frontage. A real gem of...
Explain to everyone watching where this property is at.
Yeah. So if you were to
The map
travel...
shows it, but for people...
Yeah, if you were to travel west on 136 from where we are here, as you work your way up the mountain and through the switchbacks, that puts you right sort of central into the property. So this is south, it straddles 136. The majority of the acreage is south and west of 136, flanking basically the eastern bank of Lookout Creek, southward almost to the rec area, very close to the rec area here off Highway 11.
Four fields.
Yeah, the 4 fields. It shares, gosh, probably over a mile of boundary with Cloudland Canyon State Park off of the west rim. It has seen some timber harvest in the past. There would be opportunities for restoration and stabilization of that, but overall, the property in terms of its strategic location adjacent to additional county property, and the opportunity to be a link from the valley floor to Cloudland Canyon State Park could be an immense opportunity for outdoor recreation investment in Dade County.
So you're looking at probably in reality before this actually would come to, if we did decide to do anything, and saying that we did hit the grant, the window that's open in October or whatever, and we did actually, because there's a chance we wouldn't. You're looking at probably like 2026, you reckon, 2027? So we're looking at years out is what it is.
We are looking years out. Yeah, 2026, I think if we were to look at the first option, which would be the fastest turnaround, we'd be looking at closing in spring of 2026.
Yeah.
These, I wish that these grant funding sources worked a little faster than they do. It's just the reality of the the selection and contracting process.
Okay, Robert, I know you got some questions. You know, it's just, this is,
Well, with all these timelines for the money now, would these be waiting on Dade County or would Dade County be waiting on them? If that makes sense. I mean, they're going,
So-
cause they're wanting 500,000
Yes.
for us to commit to $500,000.
Commit to 500,000. That $500,000 does not need to be, a check cut at the application. Those funds would need to be committed by Dade County, that you have the capacity to commit this funding, and then when it's time to enter into the contract.
draw.
So you could say we have this commitment from Dade County. It's sealed.
Yep, and so what we would recommend is a resolution committing the funds to be included in the grant application at the end of October. And then when it comes time to draw on that, when we are ready to close, that's when Dade County would need to contribute those funds.
And Robert, I know there's a lot that you need to look at this because of, as far as this, a future, I know there's a law or whatever that we have to go by as far as getting any other commissions and debt, carrying debt over, whatever, but that's something you really need to, there's lots you need to look at.
There is.
Yeah.
Several issues, but nothing that strikes me as making this impossible to do. I mean, but there are issues got to work through.
Well, with me, it's a kind of a personal issue, but everybody knows I'm passing the torch to General Bob Wood in about 3 months. And the way I look at it, I am deciding something that's gonna affect what he takes up. And I'm like, I don't see that this would be something that would do that, but, that's what I think about, is that I'm not tying the hands of another commission, but agreeing to something that they're starting out with a $500,000, perhaps more debt. Although to me, I remember what's it been 2 years ago, people were in here saying they're logging the side of the mountain, they're gonna clear cut the side of the mountain, it's gonna fall off.
Blaming it on us.
Blaming it on us, and now we do have an opportunity to make sure that's never done.
Yeah.
Because there's already a couple of, now you said that could be
Reseeded, replanted.
established, I guess, with, yeah. And I don't know how many acres they did, but if they had gone on with it, it would have been much more than what it is today. Those two places where they harvested timber off of it. And that's not a place you want to harvest timber because the mountain's gonna give at some point, so.
Philip, I'll let you, I know you've worked on this a lot, you know more about it than.
So here's how when I approach this, there's been other projects that's been done, and usually when it's done, there's been building sites carved out for someone to build a house. One of my stipulations was no building sites for this. If we're buying it all. We don't want houses on it at all. I would like to see, if we can use the funds, I would like to see the due diligence money come out of ARPA to pay for that part to get it started. But also, I feel like it's for tourism, so I would like to see some of our hotel motel taxes, which is tourism funds, to go towards this as well, so we're not pulling it all out of splash money. We sit down here every month and spend money for fire trucks and stuff that we need in here in the office, but I feel like this gives us a good opportunity to give back to the people of the community and gives them somewhere to go and be able to go outside. We do a lot of stuff for football, baseball, basketball, the sports complex, the track, but there's another group of people that would like to just be outside and on the creek and have somewhere to go fish or camp. And I think down the road, this could be a place where we could even have youth hunts for the youth in the county that does not have anywhere in this county to do that at this time. That's what caught my eye, and that's why I'm bringing this to y'all.
So you're talking about not touching any kind of property tax then? I mean,
No, it's already-
it won't be coming out, it's ARPA, you're looking at ARPA.
ARPA, I want to use ARPA, hotel motel tax, and the remainder out of splash.
Out of splash.
Yes.
Well, it's something we need to, we don't have two of our commissioners here now, we need it, but we can brief them on this, and Robin, you've got a lot of research to do, and then we can come back to our next meeting and see what we can do. I know you're looking at the end of October of actually an open window there. Now, is that through, what is that? Is that through ARC, I didn't understand you, who is that, grant, who would it be through? What-
Yep, so that's an Appalachian Regional Commission. So
Okay, that is ARC, right? Yeah.
ARC funding, so that would be area development funds.
Yeah.
And we would work, again, with Northwest Georgia Regional
Oh, yeah.
Commission. It would be a grant from, a proposal from Dade County through Department of Community Affairs, Trust for Public Land, Northwest Georgia Regional Commission would partner on that proposal. We partnered on a successful Walker County proposal for the Battlefield Connector Shared Use Path last year, so we really know each other's teams well. And Appalachian Regional Commission, their annual conference just ended today in Chattanooga, and got to spend some quality time with their staff in DC here talking about the value of outdoor recreation. I was actually just out on the trails with one of their program officers not more than 2 hours ago, and they were very motivated to explore how outdoor recreation investment can benefit communities in the area.
Okay.
And as far as this project goes, I have talked to both of our state representatives, Cameron and Mr. Moore, and they both support this as well.
Okay. Appreciate you coming tonight, and we'll probably be asking you to come back maybe our next meeting, and, you know, if you can, and we'll just got a lot to talk about and do some research, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Noel.
Thank you.
All right.
One last thing about that piece of property is it's roughly 2,200 feet from the sports complex. One landowner separates them, or whichever side of the line you wanted to go on.
Yeah, I knew it was close. It comes in there, you know. Yep. All right. Move down to number 9. This is on our election building construction project, and we're getting closer. We've got trying to get wound up on some of our paving and get our men back down there. I should have the final, actually drawings of the footers now, and where we can go ahead and bid our walls out. And we've been really concentrating on the depot project, which we finished up. We'll give an update on that in just a second. But it's, you know, once we start on it, it's going to go wide open. So hopefully by the middle of this month, you'll see some people working down there on the footers and the walls and all. We're going to try to get everything we can out of the ground before bad weather. Anything that would, where we can actually go with it where the weather won't hold it up too much. But other than that, that's pretty much what we got, a report on that. And then, moving down to the train depot they're moving this week. I mean, they've already had all the phone lines changed over, our indigent defense people, all the computers, everything, they're by first of the week, by Monday, that place will be vacated, the building over here that they moved out of. So, and it really has turned out really good. The only other person we like moving would be Stephen. He was here tonight, yeah.
Oh, he's back here listening.
And he'll be moving his office, he's our ASCS officer with it.
We'll officially be in there Monday.
Oh, okay, you don't have that much to move anyway, do you?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
We gotta get ready for the files.
And he'll be in the north end of the building there. It'll be a nice office there for him, and then the rest of the building will be our indigent defense attorney. And so that's to be a project finished, and so and it turned out really good. It's really nicer and than I thought it was going to be. I mean, really, it's really. Have you been in a field yet? Since I know you hadn't had time to work.
Looks good.
It really is quality. It's a really good building, and
Have we put that on the website yet about Stephen and them all moving?
I'm not sure whether her mother had surgery today or yesterday, and
But we do need to advertise.
we need to put it on there. I'm sure that they've already got it out as far as their the people they do business with. I'm sure they've already notified them of the moving of it, And Stephen can do that. I mean, you can get with Kerry and have that posted. Yeah. Okay. All right. Philip, also this is another one of your the ordinance you've been working on pretty heavy with Robin. This is our ordinance 08-01-24. This is amendment to our subdivision services ordinance. Have you kind of got that worked out? I mean, as far as,
Yes. Let me see where it's at.
This was second reading, I guess.
yep. And no changes, right? Nothing, no kind of, okay. All right. You got any questions, Robert?
No, I finally come to under it. I mean, just so everybody understands what it is. Philip can.
Yeah, Phil, just
correct me if
explain.
I'm-
Real
if I'm
simple.
wrong.
It basically says if you're building new houses and you're gonna tie into the county sewer system, which is an affluent system, and that property can be lotted off and deeded and sold, it must have its own tank, pump, and alarm per that house or that section. Any land that can be lotted off. That keeps them from tying 5 or 6, 7 houses on one tank, one pump, and alarm, and then when that stuff goes out, we'll have 6, 7 people calling, wondering why their sewer doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah, it should have been really put in there years ago, and we just haven't been challenged on it, you know.
Well,
It's just a matter of time.
We was adding on to the sewer, but it was just single houses one at a time, and then we've had a couple that's come in and done this, and it's gonna catch up to us.
Okay, any questions? Do you want to add anything, Robin? I mean, as far as that-
that's fine.
Okay, that's fine. Put that on the consent agenda then. Okay, second reading. All right. Let's move down to number 12. This is Resolution R-23-24. This is our GDOT Section 5311. Been going through this for years and years and years. This is our vans, our transit vans for public transportation. And this Penny need to come up and answer any questions. Y'all got any questions for that, or for her on that? All right. Come on up, Penny.
I don't think, it's something we,
If we-
basically what we do
and it hadn't
every
changed.
year.
It really
this
hasn't,
time,
you know, it really hasn't changed as far as the whole
We
structure.
get vans for
A lot of
very good-
a lot of paperwork.
We get vans for a very good price at this one.
Lots of paperwork. The biggest thing is the vans went up right at $11,000. I'm asking for 2 replacements and an expansion, because when they replaced the last 3, they replaced them with 8 passenger instead of 10. So we've lost 3/4 of a van. We continue to grow.
So it'd be what, it'd be, no, the 11,000, that's what it cost us. I mean, that's what, as far as
Yeah,
per van.
I've got it,
But would it be more on the?
our part for the year budget, for the vans, it would be $40,680. We do 10%, state does 10%, federal is 80%.
Okay. Have you went over that with her, Don, on the, as far
Yeah,
as?
she's well versed in it.
Yeah.
So there's 2 parts, there's capital and then there's operating. All right, the operating is $494,527. That basically runs the organization down there for the FY '26 budget. The other $406,800, that's for the capital improvement. Those listed there are the proposed vans. We'll say this about proposed vans. Some years we've ordered them and it's 5 years before we get a van. Some years they'll come the next year.
They have
It's
to-
hard to say.
Yeah, they have to get close to the end of their useful life.
Right. They
And we
do.
got 2 that are 4 years old, useful life is 5.
Yeah. But once they're approved here, you know, the GDOT keeps up with all that. And then ultimately, we do only pay the 10% match. And really, I think it even broke down to 5%. But anyway, so for 10% of that match is $81,360, and then our portion is actually $40,680. So that
good
we're out of
deal,
pocket.
yeah.
Now, that's just on the vans, that's capital. On the matching for the county, it's $247,263 for operating. So marrying all that together, you're talking about $901,000 worth of stuff, operating and capital. And then the federal government pays $572,703. The state pays or the match, 328,623. And then our only portion left is that 40,680 on the vans only.
Yeah.
We pay, on the operating, it's a 50/50. So right at $500,000 budget, we're paying 247,000, some change.
Yep. Okay. Any questions, Robert, or Mr. Hartline? It's a win-win for us, there's no doubt, so. Okay, Jeannie, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Okay. Okay. Move down to number 13, Resolution R-24-24. This is amendment number 2 to FY 2024. Don, I'll let you go into that. Okay.
So this is hopefully our final budget amendment. We always try to do this after we close the books out after June 30th, and then we have 60 days. So that 60 days is now expired. Rebecca has calculated the differences, and so right now, in the top part of this is page, what page is this? Page 2 of 5. You'll see at the top, there's a revenue increase for loss, which is local option sales tax. Other miscellaneous revenue, 65,000. Real property current year is a decrease of 200,000, and the reason that has to happen that way is because when we pass the on to September 1st, then we have to consider that PY prior year. So we'll actually put that on to this year's prior year. That would be collectible, and then it has interest and penalties in addition to that. But anyway, LMIG is the local maintenance improvement grant. We did decrease that 200,000 because it's based on what we actually received. What happened there, I can tell you, is the prior 3 years, we received extra money for Sligo Ridge Road repair, up the mountain. What is in that?
County Road 6.
Yeah, County Road 6. And
Stop.
those things kind of, we were able to go, Ted and his entourage went to Atlanta and sought extra funds, and they gave them to us. That doesn't always happen. And so that's what some of that is. So there was a net decrease of 225,000 in the revenue side. To balance that, at the bottom, you can see what we've done is going through the expense side, and that negative 225,000 is offset there through either increases or decreases based on, just depends on what area the budget you're looking at. There would, for instance, at the top, you see a lot of increases. Those are mostly, that top one is workers' comp, contracted services, grant expense, and it just goes on through there. Well, some employee-related stuff, part-time employees, and then at the bottom, it's got decreases on such things as fuel. Oh, actually, that's an increase on fuel. Election expense, we did not have to have the runoff election, so that saved, right at $50,000, thank goodness. And so that's along with the regular employees decrease of 110,000 that was removed. Contracted services, if you look over, you say, well, why are you decreasing here and increasing at the top? Well, you have to go over into the line item itself, and it's different. It may be different departments, and that's the reason it is. At the top, for instance, contracted services had an increase in 1535 with a department, but at the bottom you see a decrease into 7520. So anyway, so that's a net. The delta on that is 0. So that's a good thing. We don't really have to touch the fund balance in that situation. And that's the general fund. This puts all budgets in balance and prepares it for the auditors, our CPAs that will come in October, usually about the second week of October. They'll begin a 2-week audit of the county finances. The next page is all the special funds that we review every month, and those, we can't really, it's hard to budget for something you never know what you're going to get. And so that's the reason we wait till the end of the year to budget all these funds at that time. So you got Fund 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160, 170, and then 205. And so that's how those were expensed, and offset. The money comes in, mostly on those are coming in from the court system through fines and fees, assessed through the different situations. If it's a DUI, for instance, you may touch the drug fund, or different ways the court receives those funds. And then they're expensed primarily for education and training, sometimes supplies, but most of the time we try to do education and training. The law specifies how you can expense those funds. It's very, very exact. And then the last page is for that 12-month period of the Fund 230. And so that's what all of those expenses are for the year, $769,500. So that's the budget amendment.
Should be the final.
We hope.
Thank you.
I mean, sometimes if the auditors come in and they move something from one line item to another, and we don't foresee it, we will have to come back. We've done that, I mean, three times. So we'd have to probably propose one in December or January. Sometimes we don't know. It takes time for them to reconcile everything. But so far, for what we've reconciled, we still show what should be an increase to the fund balance somewhat. And then, yeah.
Okay. Any questions, Mr. Orland? Robert? Okay. Put that on the consent agenda. Okay, Paula.
Poor Paula.
Yeah, poor, yeah. Paula Duval, our chief appraiser. She has something to bring before us here.
All right, this is our annual audit report. I'm assuming everybody got a copy of the audit report. If you'll turn to the third page, I believe it is, where it has all the ratio analysis numbers.
Is that the preliminary or well, they're both state preliminary. Is it the statewide or the?
This one, it looks like this right here.
Okay, it's the second one on there. DOAA sales ratio study. It's not the statewide equalization, it's the other one. It's the second on the right. It's the one on the right. No, I think it's the other one.
Just go up to the third page.
No, I think you're right. I think
Yeah,
you're right,
that's it.
Alex. You're right. I'm sorry. I was looking at something else. Yep.
Next page. One more page. Yeah, right there. There you go. All right, this, we've talked many, many times about the statistical numbers that we have to maintain, your median, COD, which is coefficient of dispersion, and PRD. This audit report is what we get every year from the Department of Audits and Accounts through the state of Georgia. They do audit our office every year. So they also, use sort of the same method that we do as far as looking at sales to determine these statistical numbers. They do, as we again have discussed many times, use previous year sales where we use previous year sales, they use the current year sales. So that's where some of the issue comes in with these numbers. Because what we have the opportunity to do, we get the list of sales. They give us a list of sales that they are using for this audit report. So we do have an opportunity to go through that list of sales, and if we see any that we would like to have disqualified, that we do not think are fair market sales, we do have the opportunity to go through and mark those, and they can use our recommendation or they don't. It just depends on how they see it. So after going through all that and, disqualifying sales that I could disqualify, because again, when you're looking at current year sales, we're not even there yet. So to go through that list of current year sales and disqualify them based on our values, I'm looking at 2024 values to try to disqualify a 2024 sale instead of the 2024 value using 2023 sales. So that's where a lot of this issue's coming from. We were okay on everything except for our residential COD. That should not be above a 0.15 or a 1.5. We did come in this year at a 1.8. So what I'm requesting, all our other numbers look fine. I am requesting the county commission to appeal this audit report. We disagree with this number. We want to be able to tell our side of the story. And so I am requesting that the county commission appeal this 2023 audit report. I do have the appeal letter here ready to go if it is approved tonight. And I do have my consultants, the McCormick consultants, who are helping with this appeal. They're already contacting Lee Thomas, who is the director of Department of Audit's Sales Ratio Division. So they're in close contact with him. They're already getting some information. So I feel like we have a good chance if we do appeal this. I think we have some good information to be able to present. So that's my request. Does anybody have any questions about the report itself?
What, I mean, we can't just sit back and not appeal it, I mean, but
Right.
what kind of costs are we looking at as far as,
There's no cost.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about your consultant taking
Oh,
this
well,
on.
this is all under what we've already paid them.
Okay, so that's part of that, I just
Yeah.
want to be sure,
Yeah,
I
it's
thought
not
you said that.
any additional funds. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, so.
Mr. Hartline, you
I'm good with it.
fine, Rob,
Let's appeal.
let's appeal it.
Because another thing that we use too, we have our own internal numbers. And, we do those every year and we study that and we go through the sales, disqualify the same way we would for this report here. Any sales that we do not feel are a fair market sale. So if our statistical numbers do not come in correct based on the same qualifications as this, that's when our decision to make changes in values happen or not. So we do the exact same thing this report does, this audit report, the audit department does. It's just we're looking at two different pools of sales.
Yeah.
So that's again where the issue comes in a lot, so.
All right. we appreciate it.
Are a
Yeah,
lot of counties going, I mean, are there not a lot of counties go through this same thing every
Yes.
year?
Yes.
And we had what you're appealing, is that what we did a couple of years ago?
Yes.
When the auditors came up and
That's right.
it really got us nowhere, but we were able to,
It lowered it a little bit, but still not
Yeah.
below what we should have been. Yeah.
do you think it is a legislative thing that would need to be on the legislator to get where they have to come and
Somewhere.
use the same
something's
thing,
gotta-
put it on the level?
Yes, I think.
Because
so.
it's gonna
I
be
think that's
every
the only
year,
way
if
it's
not,
gonna-
unless we get something out of them this time.
Right. Because if I go through and try to disqualify 2024 sales based on our 2025 values, which we're already working in, we're already doing that. Number one, I could be accused of sales chasing. Well, okay, well, I see this sale coming up, so I'm gonna change this value to match that sale so that when we come up to 2025, I'm already in line with that sale. We could get in trouble for that because that's not the way you do it. You don't adjust it to the sale. You adjust the whole county per the sales, not just the one property that's sold.
Any questions? No. Okay.
That's coming up also as a constitutional amendment, not all of this, but there's some language at the bottom that's listed in that constitutional amendment we'll be voting on in November that actually fixes a very small portion of this, not all of it, but it would allow 2002 values or 2003 values, not 2004 to 24 to 24, but 24 back to 23 on certain line items, and it'll help it. Now, that doesn't necessarily, that's not the best parts of that bill. I mean, there's other parts that may not be great for Georgia, but that is one little fix that they tied into that constitutional amendment, and it would be a constitutional amendment. So that's something for everybody to consider, voting in favor of if you so choose to do that.
Okay. Thank you, Paul. All right, you got anything to add, Robert or Cartline? If not, we'll go ahead and adjourn our work session, and we'll talk about 5 minutes, and then we'll start our regular meeting here, okay? Thank Thank you. Here. That means hush up and sit down. Okay, go ahead and call the meeting to order. Appreciate everyone being here. As always, before we get started, we ask Brother Robert Goff here if he would lead us in prayer. We do have two commissioners out. I mentioned in our work session, Miss Bradford, she's under the weather, she's sick, and then Lamar's on his way for some treatment. He's not here tonight. So, Robert, if you would, everyone stand.
And let's really do remember Lamar. He's getting the opportunity to go for some treatments, hopefully help him at least pain management. So, and not only him, but Kathy, his caregiver, and also for Melissa. But when we pray tonight, it's something, God help us, we never know how the people in Barrow County feel after yesterday in that school shooting.
Man.
And we just hope and pray that we never, ever get that word over here. But tonight, there's mothers and fathers and other employees that work together going through one of the hardest things they've ever gone through in their life and probably ever will. So let's keep those people in mind. It can happen anywhere, and we pray that it stops. But also, I will say this, since it's well known now, a lot of you that's been coming here for a long time remember Rex Harrison. Rex was worked in our community, worked in our, with the city, with things going on in the city and the county. He lost his life today, so do remember Chriselle, his wife. They had no children, but just remember them and what they're going through, or what she's going through right now, and the rest of her family that's going through it with her. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come with heavy hearts tonight as we think about just 150 miles from where we sit. That happened yesterday. There was no warning. It just began to happen, and when it was over, lives were lost and lives were forever changed. Families were forever changed. And we know that tonight we can't change what happened yesterday, but we can ask you to be with those families and with that community, with that school system, with that government, with the law enforcement, with the first responders that went in and have to go into these places and see this. We can only imagine what it does. So Lord, we pray for Barrow County and for that school system tonight. Bless them especially and the parents. We pray for Lamar that you would just continue to bless him to be able to go as much as he can. And Lord, we pray that you're able to help him in Nashville, and we just ask you to be with he and Kathy. And Lord, we love him and he loves this community. I don't know that there's anybody that loves Dade County any more than he does. So Lord, we do ask for him, and we pray tonight that you would be with Rex's family. And now we pray, Lord, that you would just continue to bless ours. It's our community. It's a close-knit community, and sometimes we don't see everything eye to eye, but there's one thing about it. We all love where we live. We love the people, and we love the beauty that surrounds us. So, Lord, tonight we just thank you for that, and we thank you for a nation where we live. They do not have to fear to come together tonight and speak our piece and do the things we do for the county, and knowing that it's not going to make everybody happy, but tomorrow everybody will get up and say, I still love where I live, and I love the people where I live. So Lord, just bless that tonight. Bless everyone's here, everybody that's watching, listening tonight but in their homes. And we just pray that you would bless Dade County, bless Georgia, bless our nation, and bless our world, for we ask it in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Robert. This is a regular scheduled meeting of the Dade County Board of Commissioners. Takes place at the same time on the first Thursday of every month. Proper notice this meeting was given to our legal origin. The Dade County Sentinels have been posted in their hallway of administrative building. At this time, I do need a roll call. Mr. Hartline? Here. Mr. Goff?
Here.
Mr. Lowry is absent. Ms. Bradford is absent, and Chair is present. We do have a quorum. Okay. Anyone want to come up and talk to us tonight? Give you 5 minutes to come up and talk to the podium. Anyone tonight? General. Yes, sir.
Good day, y'all. Bob Woods, Rising Fund. Just a recommendation, if we could figure out some way to have a good sound system, because some of the people that were presenting here tonight, speaking this way, there was many folks in the back that couldn't hear them, and they were kind of complaining about it. So if we could figure that out, sir.
Is that
would be
a
good-
motion from the floor, or is that you making a motion?
I'm making a recommendation. I'm
We'll-
just
we will
sharing some
definitely- 'cause
feedback.
it's here, let me tell you something, it's here, we just need to, Alex and Emma, this is a,
All right.
that's right.
But I just heard from a few people that they couldn't hear, and I just wanted to make that recommendation. That's all.
Exactly. And that's what we need, because we don't know until you tell us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else talk to us? Okay. Anybody but Don, what do you got to say? Let me start my clock here.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Now, I only get 5 minutes. Can you hear me? All right. I have not been able to come up yet and tell everyone in Dade County that I did appreciate the vote of support for this past primary back on May 20th. It was a hard-fought election, and so won by 50% plus 11 votes, and I'm thankful for that. Respect the two other gentlemen that ran. We all ran good, clean campaigns. But I just want to stop and say thank you for that opportunity. I look forward to working with the commission. I've been here 18 years, but it's just going to be a different dynamic, and I look forward to that. I look forward to working with Bob and our other commissioners that are here. I hope Melissa would be here tonight, and Lamar. So, but I look forward to working with Philip. Everybody says, Philip. We actually do talk and get along. Iron sharpeneth iron, the Bible says. So that's good. That's what we're going to do. And that's okay. It's good. I would like to petition the commission to begin thinking about the replacement of the position of county clerk. The county clerk is appointed, just so the people know, that is one of the only appointed jobs in county government. The other appointed job comes through the Board of Assessors, and that's our chief appraiser, Paula Duvall, who happens to be here. But the county clerk is hired by all 5 county commissioners. It is one of those things, this is a transition period, and it would help greatly to have a new person seated now to be thinking about that. Of course, that is also a decision of the new board as well. So I would like to invite Bob as commissioner-elect here almost in a few days, hopefully in November, to take part in those interview process. I'm on what's called a county clerk listserv, and I have lots of access to job descriptions because county clerks change all the time throughout the state. We've had several county clerks in Georgia retire in the last 10 years, and unfortunately we had one that was 35 plus year experience in Chattooga County recently pass away. So county clerks we tend to come and we tend to stay a few years. Many of the clerks I know have been in county government 30 plus years, and that should say something about those counties as well as their leadership. So be thinking about that. I'd like to go ahead and advertise that position without delay, and then maybe late September, early October, we'll start a process of looking for a new county clerk. As far as the CFO part, the county finance officer, chief financial officer of the county, Rebecca Jones has been doing a fabulous job. She serves as a deputy CFO. I could not pretend to sit here and tell you there's not a better person made for that job. Now I'm the one that kind of married those two things together, those two positions years ago. It worked for a long, long time, but it really is time to separate those two jobs again. It's just too much for one person to do. And so I don't, and she's not one to get into a lot of controversy. If you know her, she's more like she is a CPA by trade. And CPAs have their numbers and a calculator in a room with no windows. That's usually what they like. Now, we give her 2 windows, but anyway, and a nice desk, but anyway, she's just not one for any controversy. Not that we have to face a lot of controversy, but there's times that we have to, discuss things with the media and different people and open records requests, and things can get challenging. So, but anyway, I just want to say that as far as she goes, she's an excellent choice. I could not recommend anyone better for the position of a CFO. But as county clerk, just be aware that we'll be probably doing that here in the next few weeks, couple of weeks, I hope, and then start that process. Thank you.
You got 30 seconds? Oh, okay. All right, thank you, Don. Okay, if there's no further, we'll move on with the meeting. Oh, Doc, come on.
Just about this land on the side of Lookout Mountain, and this is not a negative, it's not a positive. But a lot of things to think about, and I couldn't hear all of it. I knew I heard October. I don't know whether some decision's gonna be made or whatever, but there's a lot of things about this thing, and I've dealt with the Georgia, I don't know, it's Alabama, Georgia, or Georgia, Alabama Land Trust. A lady named Catherine Eads, she's very nice, she's a lawyer. And then on the water board, we were gonna have to buy wetland credits from Alabama, Georgia at about $100,000 an acre. But there's a lot of questions, and Ray Cross put some property in it, and I know some people down in South Georgia has put some property in it. But they're very specific about what they want done. You have to map out where they're gonna have a house and a barn and a pond, and I think there's a lot of questions to be answered before we jump into this, and it may be a great thing. I don't know what they're gonna add. Well, I can see how they're gonna add some things that Cloudland Canyon doesn't have, but again, there's some things they're gonna be competing with, like the KOAs, and there's an RV park going in over here in Piney, and how that's gonna fit in. But I just hope we hear more about it, and I'm not plussing, I'm not minusing, but I think there's a lot of questions to be answered before we jump into whatever we're jumping into, $500,000 or $1.5 million or whatever. That's all.
So real quick on one thing on that, though, for me to be involved in it, if there's no, they're not gonna sell us a portion of it and then keep a portion and have house spots on it. It is strictly for public use only. No houses, cause that was one of my things when we went into that, so.
Okay, well, that's
I
good.
get your point.
Where are you gonna put the trails and, things
Right.
like that? Because they're very, very specific in my dealings with them.
Right.
But that's not all negative either. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we'll move on. Mr. Hartline, you wanna start with your report?
At the sports complex, we've got soccer, football, and then fall baseball still going on. They're practicing and playing. Pretty much that, and just they've had a few leaks last month that they worked on, and mowing and keeping the grounds up. As far as our electrical inspections for July, I missed this one, but in July we had 23 electrical inspections. For August we had 28. What was interesting to me is in July we had 8 new constructions, houses turned over to permanent. In August we had 8 new homes turned over to permanent. We had 8 new construction temporaries in July. We only had 4 in August, so we dropped there. But we had mobile homes, another RV park. You was talking about an RV park, or there is another one being built in the county, and then some mobile homes and stuff. But it was interesting. We had 8 new homes in July turned over to permanent electrical, and we had 8 in the month of August as well. So every month we're taking on 8 more houses in the county.
Okay. Mr. Goff?
All right, as usual, I report on the splosh, and Mr. Townsend's gonna read it again later, but the splosh came in very good this month for the month of August at $328,406. And I thought that's pretty good. Now, if you remember, last August is when we got that big surprise and it come in over 400,000. So it looks like it's a terrible drop, but it's because last year was a special year and there was extra money given to us. I wish it could stay at that. So anyway, again, we sat at this table tonight and we talked about taking in 328. We sat at that table and gave away about 366. So, not gave it away, but spent it for the betterment of Dade County, in Station 4 Fire Hall and also the, Dade County Water and Sewer Authority. I'm gonna step aside just a little bit, if I may, take the chance. And it's something that the doctor just said, and you brought up wetlands and the trading and all that. I don't understand all that, and it's also for Stephen. In the last year and a half, the Supreme Court made a ruling on wetlands. Is that not what a wetland was? Because what happened out in Utah or somewhere, somebody was gonna build a house, they started pushing in dirt to build it up. The EPA come and said, no, you can't do it. And that sent it to the Supreme Court. And Stephen, I'm gonna ask you if you can, in a matter of like 20 words or less.
I've never seen that before.
Was there, and this is for the benefit of everybody out there because it's a good point. It's the kind of thing that sometimes we have to look at. What was the big difference in what a wetland was 2 years ago and what a wetland by the Supreme Court is today? And it had to do with navigable waters and filtration. Yeah.
So I'm gonna give you a politician answer, no offense to the present company.
I'm a public servant.
Oh, well, I see. Hope those don't count across my word count. So the answer is undefined at the moment. That they struck down the precedent, but a new, that's precedent, not president.
President.
Yes, I don't want to get word salad there, but the new standard has not been substantiated to a degree that you could stand up here and say it in 20 words. They have said what it is not, but they have not said what it is.
That is federal government, ain't it?
There you go. So that does not change the Swamp Buster Act of the 1980s, 1983 or 85. It's an odd year. That doesn't change the agricultural acts that regulate what we do in food security, but it is pertaining more to development. And so those are two different things. And so clean water, Swamp Buster, waters of the United States, there's a lot of different ambiguity associated with which federal regulation you may be working under, and then individual states may have their own statutes related to regulation of water, but we do not have a clear definition that I could give you on what is or isn't a wetland. I could stand there and show you one, but I couldn't put it together in a statute for you.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
It was just, it had to do with filtration of navigable waters. And a lot of things that were called filtration systems for them never touched those waters. It was a wet spot out in the field somewhere. But it's just something when the doctor brought that up. That's something that's important to anybody that's gonna build a house or buy property or trade property, whatever you're gonna do, is that you think, now I can do what I want to do, but there's this thing called EPA, and it may be because the Corps of Engineers and the EPA fought over that for what waters of the U.S. was for years and years now, and they come to an agreement, but they haven't agreed to the agreement yet. So you're right, it's a federal government when you're messing with them. So just a little clarification is better than none, I guess. So thank you, Stephen. That's all I got, Mr.
Okay, thank you, Robert. I'll start with our train depot down. I mentioned that in our work session. We're winding it up here, and it should be occupied this following week, thank goodness. And Stephen mentioned that he will be in there sometime this next week. So it turned out really good. I think everything really worked real well. And are you watching cartoons?
No, I was watching your report. That's all.
Excuse me. The election bill, and I mentioned it also, you should be seeing some action down there at work, hopefully by the middle of this month, hopefully by the week after next. But we've just been waiting on the official stamped drawings on this building, on the footers and foundations, all since we added the basement, it threw a little glitch in it, but anyway, so that's where we stand right there on that. We've having, let's see here now. Okay, I want to tell you about the bridge over 136 that's in the future, possibly by 2025, into 25, 26. It's been tossed around, re-engineered, engineered, and the last word we had was that there would be like a red light, a single lane that would keep traffic flowing. You stop, go. We found out week 4 last that actually they have redesigned, and they're going to build a 2-lane bridge, a runaround bridge. So the two lanes, you'll be, in other words, it really shouldn't. You'll slow down a little bit, but there won't be any kind of a signal, red light or anything, just caution. So that's a good thing. That bridge could take, actually, at first it was up to a year. Could take up close to 2 years to do this project. So it'll be a little inconvenience, but nothing like we thought. So that's a good thing. And from what I understand, that's final. That's the final decision by GDOT. And so that's a good thing. Good thing for everybody coming from the mountain. As a lot of you know, we had a train versus car incident a week or so ago up on Morgan Road, and it was like the 3rd or 4th incident we've had there in the last few years. And so I've been on the phone meeting with our rail people with Norfolk Southern, but the big player in it is, believe it or not, is the Department of Transportation, Georgia, GDOT. They actually are in charge of all rail crossings in the state, you know, and so I'm meeting with them next week, trying to find out, you know, and get this started, you know, as far as getting crossing arms up there. I don't understand really understand the reasoning of why the cars were hit, because if you go to this crossing, especially at Morgan there, you've got probably 1,000 feet both ways or farther as far as visibility. You know, it's not like in a curve, but that they're going to come up and they're going to survey, do everything, you know, that starts the process. So I do want to let people know that it's in the works, especially the people that live there close, because they've witnessed this. This time the car, it brought it all the way into the outside of the outbuilding outside, out back of their house there, and destroyed it. And so fortunately, as far as I know, Alex, the people, I know they were injured pretty badly, but they did survive, you know. No, I mean, yeah, it's critical. You can imagine, because it really, it done a number on the car. I don't know how they even came out alive. But I just want to let everybody know that I'm working on that, and it looks really positive, promising. We got Don brought this to my attention yesterday, and I got this letter actually end of last week. But the Norfolk Southern has got a crew they're working their way into our county, and we've got some crossings, whether it be, we don't know which ones yet, but they're redoing all crossings, but some of our crossings will be actually down for up to 72 hours. And I'm afraid some of these are going to be private crossings that are one way in, one way out. And they're supposed to, next week, give me kind of an updated calendar. I know they notified the city. Ansel got this letter. But we need to nail this down because it's, you don't think about it if you don't live across the railroad track, or if you don't, or if you don't cross the railroad track that much. Fortunately, we've got a way out. We cross it every day, but I've got 2 different ways out. But some of these people, it's one way in, one way out. So we will keep you updated on that through our website and through Evan, through our reports to him. Let's see if there's anything else that jumps out here. Not really. Y'all got anything else you want to add? I mean, as far as
I do got one more thing. I called the newspaper and let her put it in the paper last week, but I did want to apologize again for not being at the millage rate hearing last week.
He came.
I came. Y'all were done. I thought it was at 6 o'clock.
He come here like a tornado through the door, and we would turn the lights out in there, and I was fixing to get in, and he said, when we going to start this thing? I said, oh, man, you're an hour, he was 1 hour late. think he was on Alabama time
Yeah.
or whatever, you know, but, there is one other thing though that, and that happens though. I mean, you get, you know, we have got an issue in the south end right now. It's where this is at. And I hope that, is, are 4-H people here tonight? Okay, she's not here. I was going to get her to talk a little bit about this, but, it's a type of worm that is attacking our hay ground, our pasture land. And, what they call it, is it army worm?
Army worms.
They're bad news. I mean, it's, you know, Alvin Wallen, he's got a 20-acre field there, and matter of 2 days, it looks like you set it on fire and burn it. I mean, it's bad, you know. So, and right now, according to her, it's just in that area, in the Cloverdale and the south of Rising Fawn area, you know. And, okay, come up here, Steve.
It's dying to talk.
That's what she told me yesterday, now, Steve. I don't know. Yeah.
20 words or less.
So I was in the field today and can say it's a problem across all of North Georgia right now. I've had calls from Murray County all the way over here.
What about
to the
Dade?
south.
Is that the only place?
South side of Dade is
Yeah.
seeing it more
Yeah.
than anybody else right now.
Yeah.
It's we predominantly see the army worms moving in the hot and dry weather. We saw them really bad in 2016. You know, we saw a little bit, what was that, 2019 when we had a dry spell, didn't see them as bad, and they're back. They're a caterpillar. Some people spray for them. By the time you've got the spray rig hooked up, they've already at your field. You can watch them move across the field. They call them army worms because you can watch them just march across the field. I was in a field earlier today, and you know, we sat down and took a video of these worms, and they were just slowly moving through what was left of this guy's field. What I would encourage anybody in the county to do is, you know, apply for the Natural Resource Conservation Service EQIP program to potentially replant your fields. You know,
Is there any help right now on the spray?
there's currently no help available.
For the spray.
I'm paying attention to it to see if help comes available. I'll be getting with Carrie to let people know, but I'm getting calls about it, you know, not daily, but regularly, and all of the folks that I have worked with on the south side down there have either called me or their neighbors called me because they're nervous that they're going to come from the neighbors over to them.
What brings them in though? How are they transferred, by birds? Or by...
They're a caterpillar,
Yeah.
so they have
so
a life
they will turn
cycle,
into a
and
moth? I mean,
it's I believe a little brown moth, and so they fly in, and when the conditions are right, they just take off.
Is it only pasture grass or?
They attack grasses. Is their primary you know, fan.
Okay.
So, but yeah, if help comes from the USDA, I'll be sure to get that information out. But as far as planning ahead, you know, there are plenty of people that'll probably be looking to go into this fall planting. If they don't get anything planted this fall, I'd encourage an annual crop to get them through while they apply for federal help. Those are your tax dollars. The applications come to my office for Train Depot as of Monday.
Yep.
This is Whirlybird broadcasting it. There's 3 of them at Saddle Ridge Elementary in Walker County. You can call and reserve those by getting in touch with the Young Farmers. Young Farmers manage those drills. They're owned by a local nonprofit, but the Young Farmers manage them. They benefit from it. It promotes agriculture with the youth, but that's available to help people get their pastures replanted as they get damaged. But it's hay ground and it's all grass.
Grass.
Yep, grass.
So you said Bethune, though, do we have one in the county?
We do not have a no-till drill stationed in the county anymore. It was getting used about 3 times a year, and it was a 7-foot wide drill. It was getting used for the rockiest ground possible, and it was not used for agriculture. It was getting put out on food plots, and so they put them over there for young farmer. The one we had here moved to Young Farmers Management. Yeah. She does a great job with them, makes sure that whoever checks them out brings them back right. If they're damaged, she documents it to make it right. And what I'll say about all of our farmers is the Dade County farmers who do go over there have taken great care of those drills. She actually sends me a report 3 times a year on the usage. And we do have Dade County people that use them. She speaks highly of everybody that has come over here they've not been beat up or run over rough, rocky food plots like they were when they were here a decade ago.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Steve. All right, we'll, and his, Stephen's contact is on our website. I mean, you can actually get his number if you need to call him. We'll move on with the meeting here. We'll go down to, let's see here, we got Miss Sandy White. He is 4A. Come up, Sandy. She's with our president and CEO of our Alliance for Dade, or Chamber of Commerce.
Good evening. Before I get started, I wanted to let you know, I left for you a new Great Places, Georgia Great Places. We have an ad in it, so you can enjoy that at your leisure. And then also we have started working with a PR firm and are having influencers come to town to help us promote the community. And so the report that you got along with the magazine is the first one. She was out of Chattanooga, and just some stats from her visit and her post. Her reel reached 64,000 Instagram accounts with 91,000 Instagram views, 199,000 views from Facebook, 3,800 likes. 3,200 people liked the Instagram reel, and 1,800 people shared the reel, 2,300 saved the reel. So, and then throughout the summary, you'll see also where they picked up some of the attractions here in the county. We're talking about people that actually came based on seeing her information, and then other people who came to the county by looking at her feed. So just, we'll be having more of those, but I just wanted to share that with you. And then we can start the presentation. As always, we have upcoming webinars for the first part of the month, and you can see those. You can also get more information about that on our newsletter that's on our website. As far as our Facebook, we are seeing increases because of the influencers coming to town, as well as we are doing some additional ads on Facebook. We're actually up to 26,500 for the last 30 days for the reach on Facebook, and then we are up to 2,000 followers, 1,200 likes, and up to 360 on Instagram followers. Our numbers for August for the Welcome Center, we have 58 residents that came in, 68 visitors, and we had 65 calls. Wanted to show you, the next 3 slides are some of the advertising we've been doing over the last couple months. Of course, we hosted our art show at the Plum Nelly Depot, so we did advertising on it specifically, but then we also did advertising for the 24-25 Northwest Georgia Travel Association Visitor Guide. That Come Join the Fun is the ad that we're putting in there. They do 12,000 copies of that a year. Southern Living ad, our fall ad, you'll see there to the right. We also are doing digital ads locally with discoverdade.com and other digital outlets. And so the one to the right about the upcoming events coming up next weekend, listed those. We also, our September billboards in Chattanooga, we also were promoting the events coming up here in September, and then also we were promoting our wedding venues. And then we also now have some ads that will be placed in some of one local restaurant, Cafe 136, on their menus, and then also some other Chattanooga area menus. The ad, if you can go back, that's all right. The ad that you just saw with the magazine Great Places, that one's to the left. The one on the bottom to the right is 12 months ad that is going in the Go Escape Southeast USA Today travel section. And then the one up on the top right is the Northwest Georgia Living fall ad. Okay. There you go. Also, I mentioned this the last time I was here, but these are the actual ads for the Taste of South, Southern Lady, Southern Cast Iron, and Southern Home. Those will be a fall getaway package, tourism, Georgia Tourism Spotlight, and also holiday package ads. And they'll run from now through February of 2025. Also to the left is what we're putting in the state parks travel guide for 25. Coming up is our Dade Expo, and we're looking for exhibitors. So anybody who's out there that wants to exhibit, there's an early bird deadline of September 30th. Just contact us. We'll be happy to sign you up. And then coming up, we have the Mingle on the Square this weekend, and then also the Star Parties at Cloudland Canyon State Park. Then they're also starting back their caving tours, and if you need some poinsettias, contact the 4-H club for that. The Tri-State Food Pantry, those 2 dates are coming up, September 6th and 20th. And then on the 7th is the stair climb at the high school football stadium. And then coming up on the 11th, there's a student teacher training at the high school. Also, at the Board of Education office. And then starting on Friday the 13th is Elvis Night at the Groovy Nomad. And then also we've got 2 cruise-ins going on Saturday, one in the morning that the Optimist Club is doing, and then one in the evening. And in the middle is the 4th annual Smoke on the Square barbecue contest. Got some events coming up with the Historical Society that you can see there. And then the Your Georgia State Parks Day is coming up on the 28th of September at Cloudland. Some events to mark your calendar in October. One more ride at the cruise in at the Moore Funeral Home is coming up on the 19th of October. On the 12th and 13th is the New Salem Mountain Festival in New Salem. And then the trick or treat on the square that the Sheriff's Department puts on every year is coming up on the 26th. And that's my report.
Okay. Also, on the Smoke on the Square, I don't know whether you might have mentioned that, they've got a cruise in that morning too, on the our new the courthouse facility on that
Yes,
parking lot.
that's the Optimist Club.
That's Optimist Club, and they're
Yes, sir.
I think it'll be over by the time the Smoke on the Square gets rolling, I think, but it'll be should be a pretty big, turnout, I think, of cars, so.
Yes, sir.
Any questions?
No, it's a good
report, though.
good put together, because there's a lot going on that
Yes, sir. There
people
is.
just wouldn't know.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep, there's a lot going on in Dade County.
That's right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. We do have 2 other reports that you can view online from Laura Beth Cunningham, our 4-H agent and UGA Extension, and also Linda Southsea, the manager of the Dade County Public Library. So you can go online there and our website and go online and see those. We'll move down to number 5A. Don, we'll ask Don Townsend, our Chief Financial Officer, to go over our monthly financial reports, if you would, Don.
All right, I'd like to review, there's 2 reports to look at tonight. One is the report as of June 30th. So now that we have everything collected and distributed, expensed, if you'll take a look at that one, it says as of June 30th, 2024. The bottom line is, if you look towards the right, you'll see the year-to-date figures, and so year-to-date value was $14,358,442.63 collected in the year FY24. Budgeted was $14,459,000, so that is a deficit, of $100,557.37. So we were collected up to 99.30% of the budget. Looking down at the expense side, you see we budgeted, we expensed actually $14,093,995.83 and budgeted $14,459,000, which matches the revenues. So we were under budget, $365,004.17. So thus far, 97.48%. And I say thus because the auditors, of course, still could make an entry that might affect that final value, but the budget is what it is. So looking over in the little yellow section there, we don't talk a lot about that, but that bottom right number is 264,446. That's why I said earlier, it does appear we should have, right at $250,000 entry, which is a credit to the fund balance. But of course, lots of factors go into that, and that's not necessarily unreserved fund balance, but that's my hope. So anyway, that part's a good thing. I'm going to go back to the other report, which is the current report, which I have confused my computer. All right. As of August 31st, 2024, the general fund had a balance of $420,643. Certificate of deposits, which are it says CDs, it's 1.8 million. So total on hand is $2,220,643. Federal Asset Fund, Department of U.S. Treasury is $0. Sheriff Special Fund, $2,586. Drug Abuse Education Fund, $15,692. Supplemental Juvenile Services Fund, $29,996. Victim Assistance Fund, $95. Jail Fund, $15,964. Federal Asset Fund, Department of Justice, $0. American Rescue Plan, $622,271. Let me stop right there. That is the balance in the bank, but we've got a lot of committed, expenses out there. So just be aware that we may have that in the bank, but there's still bills to be paid, which include 3 fire trucks that are quite expensive. So accommodations, hotel, motel tax, $287,053. Employees flexible spending account, $42,248. Payroll account, $365,280. 2015 SPLOST funds remaining $61,019 in 2021 SPLOST. Projects account had a balance of $90,368. And the special purpose local option sales tax proceeds account had a balance of $3,096,353. Looking at the next page, then you see the current income statement. That is as of July 31st. Looking at that for the month, we spent we brought in $1,077,227, budgeted $1,076,546. So right there at it, $681 in the good and the black, and then across same thing, because since it's July, it's going to be the identical numbers to the right of the year to date. Looking down at the expense, we have expensed $1,479,783, budgeted $1,518,801. So we under budget for the month by $39,017. Budget attained so far for the new year should be at 8.33%. Revenues attained were at 7.03%, and expenses attained were at 9.66%. Local option sales tax for the month of August came in at $262,726.68, and special purpose local option sales tax came in at $328,406. Before we move on, I want to just talk about this just for a second. If you look back, at 2017 over there on the left, I don't know if you can see that. Then the yellow, we were collecting in a 12-month cycle around 1.9 million. And then 2.3 million, then 2.6 million. Then, of course, 2020, what happens? It's called COVID. People stayed home and didn't spend any money. but then 2021, still not great, but then 2022, it jumps from back in 17 of 1.9 to 3.5. That's a blessing, all right? And Robert's been preaching this for quite a few years, but you know, Peter, I don't know if you remember Commissioner Peter Cervella, he used to say, you need more than 3 or 4 months for a trend. Well, we've got a great trend happening, and a lot of that is through activities of the Chamber of Commerce and our other groups in town that really want people to shop at home. I'm guilty of not shopping at home. It's easy to go to Walmart. It's easy to go find gas cheaper when you're out and you're on empty, somewhere. But if you can, try to shop locally because it does make a difference. I mean, it really does. You can meet Billy Massengale at the meat market at Ingalls on Friday morning. I won't tell you why he's there, but it's a deal. So beat him back to the meat counter. I just gave up his secret. He's sitting back here shaking his head. Oh, man, don't tell me that. So got a problem with roads, meet him at Ingalls at the meat market. So anyway, $3.8 million, that's a blessing. We didn't have that a few years ago. We used to count on about between 240,000, and now we're looking, I mean, we had $328,406.75. That's great.
Back in 2001, we were really felt good at 150,000.
Better believe it.
160,000, and it's amazing the difference, I mean.
So because of that, we are able to do some things that we, just like for instance, the land that was proposed tonight, the whatever you call it, the acquiring of the Dade County Community Forest Trust for the public land. This is a source of funds. There's several sources of funds. But anyway, I just want to throw that out there that, it's because of this that we're able to do some things that we couldn't maybe not have done before. And same thing with the buildings. We got elections building. We've got animal control, a different facility. There's different things in our future that we are going to have to look at, but we're okay. I mean, it'd be hard if we're sitting here and it was only 1.9 million and we only had 200,000 in the bank, but I reported a minute ago we got a little over 3 million in the bank with SPLOST. So I'm just letting you know. All right, SPLOST tracking worksheet there is attached, the 2021 and the 2015 details for those. And the final report is the tax commissioner's report. It's only 1 month, so it's only at 2.15. This is probably one of the least months of the year. July and August are tough months in her office, and because most people have already paid their taxes that were due in the prior year. But $132,805.72 were collected, and that's of a total budget of $6,189,000. So tax bills will be going out here soon. We passed the board, so as part of the financial report. Department of Revenue did approve the millage rate. That did drop from 8 mills to 7.75 mills, and the school boards, I think, was at 14 mills. So that has been approved, and so she's able to go forward with her digest. I'm talking about her, meaning the commissioner of taxes, Angie Galloway. And she will be collecting those beginning probably even in the month of September. And once these bills go out, I would expect them probably in the next 10 days, and they'll be due in November, which is, again, better than being due at Christmas. So anyway, that is the report as it stands. Thank you.
All right. Any questions for Don? Corrections? Okay. If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve our financial report as presented. I have a motion.
Motion to approve.
Okay. I have a motion to approve. I have a second.
Second.
Okay, I have a second. Call a vote. Mr. Goff?
Yes.
Hartline?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, and Lowry and Bradford are absent. Okay. Robin, you got anything tonight you need to go over with us? Any legal issues, matters you need to bring out?
I don't, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. No unfinished business or new business, okay. All right. The reading of the minutes of our last month's regular meeting and any special call meeting will not be required. Since all commissioners have been furnished copies in advance, the minutes are public record and available for view in the county commission office. The minutes are included in our consent agenda and will be considered for approval under the new business. I'll ask Don Townsend to go over our consent agenda, and then we will entertain a motion pertaining to that. Mr. Townsend?
We have the approval of the agenda as amended by adding the entry for the Dade County Water and Sewer Authority under 5B. We have the approval of the previous meeting minutes, review of and approval of the personnel status report, the proclamation for Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, naming September 2024 as that month, proclamation for the library sign-up month, September 2024, proclamation for Adult Education and Literacy Week, September 15th through the 21st, 2024, Resolution R-25-24, reappointment of Mr. Richard Stevens to the Board of Assessors. That is for a 3-year term commencing October 1st, 2024 and expiring September 30th, 2027. Resolution R-26-24, an appointment of a member to the Department of Family and Children Services Board to fulfill the unexpired term of Mrs. Tanina Bice. That person is Phyllis Baker, and that appointment will be effective tomorrow, 9/6/24, expiring, set to expire June 30th, 2028. We have under SPLOS, capital equipment, and in Dade County Fire Station 4, it's the final phase of the remodel of the building located in North Dade. They've requested $45,000 additional SPLOS funds for that rebuild and remodel. The Dade County Water and Sewer Authority have capital outlay projects request by their general managers Elizabeth Zeller, a total of $274,905.64, which one is a relocation of a water main at County Road 145 and Sligo Road along I-24 for GDOT project. Bridge replacement approximately $110,993. The Water Authority and purchase of new pumps for the distribution system. Says spare bowl assembly for the raw water pump in the amount of $7,586. If one of the pumps fails, the spare can be used to replace that pump. A spare pump high service number 3 is in the amount of $18,785 is required. And if the high service pump number 3 or high service pump number 4 fail, a spare is available at the water plant. In addition, the new pump will be installed at the Lookout Mountain Pump Station number 2 for the sum of $39,175. Purchase of the main office new server for $81,152.48. And then on Highway 301 South near Michaels Road, 3,200 linear feet of the new line will be installed. Currently owed is $94,909.26. That's a lot. All right, number 6 is the 6A was the Dade County Fire Station 4. That was for HVAC proposal. The winning bid went to 72 Degrees for that 4-ton unit HVAC at $11,000. The Historic Courthouse Renovation Project Report is presented by Mr. Cole Atkins. The 2024 Ordinance 08-01-24, amending the Subdivision Essential Services Ordinance. This is the second reading and final reading and approval. Resolution R-23-24, the FTA GDOT Section 5311 for fiscal year 2026 grant application for public transportation of $901,327 total project cost, of which the county's match for the operating budget is $247,263.50, and the capital portion is $40,680. Resolution R-24-24, amendment number 2 to the fiscal year 2024 budget and other funds, which for the general fund total $225,000 net change, revenue and expenses, so the delta was zero, balanced. The fund, $24,400, Fund 130, $20,300, Fund 150, $17,300, Fund 160, $35,300, and Fund 230, $769,500. And finally, consideration, approval for the, approval of the appeal request by the chief appraiser of the 2023 statewide, the Dade County sales ratio study, specifically the coefficient of dispersion, which is appealing the calculation of Dade County's COD, per letter that will be mailed tomorrow. That's it.
Okay. Any questions? No. Corrections, whatever? Okay. If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve our consent agenda as presented. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve as presented.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second?
Have a motion and a second. I'll call a vote. Mr. Goff?
Yes.
Mr. Hartline?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, and Lowry and Bradford are absent. Okay. Thank you. All right. No executive session tonight. I need a motion to adjourn unless y'all got something else you want to add.
Motion to
All
adjourn.
right, have a second.
Second.
Call a vote. Mr. Goff?
Yes.
Mr. Hartline?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. We appreciate it. Meeting is adjourned.